everyone, it's Kate. I made the Sewing Workshop Liberty shirt as a vest. I basically just made the shirt and didn't put sleeves on, and I made it out of this beautiful rainy fabric, and I love it, but I can't button it. The reason I can't button it is because I weigh a little more than I like to, but also because the Rami has zero stretch. Not only does it have zero stretch, but I had to cut it out so that the straight of grain goes around my body so that I could take advantage of the beautiful pattern on the fabric. And I'm going to use this as an opportunity and show you how to do a full bust adjustment on a pattern that doesn't have a dart. I'm going to jump right in to trying on the tissue and then altering it. I promise I will make another video showing you how to prepare the tissue in order to try it on. Okay, so I have pinned the front to the back at the shoulder seams and the side seams at the seam allowance, wrong sides together, and I am just trying it on. I went over to the mirror to make sure I had everything in place, and I have a pin here in my center front, and I folded back the pattern piece so that its center front is in the center. And I can see that I need an extra almost 3/4 of an inch for this to close at the center front. And I'm going to take off the tissue and show you how to alter it. I've pinned the tissue to a good old-fashioned cardboard grid. Never knew what to use these for, but now I do. It's perfect for alterations. I made sure that the grain line is along one of the grid lines and the center front is along one of the grid lines, and the hem is parallel to, or it should be along one of the grid lines. I can see that it's straight. I am going to show you how I draw the lines with the grid in place, and then I'm going to put some solid pieces of paper underneath and draw with a Sharpie so you can really see. What we're going to do is draw 3 lines on your pattern piece, and we're going to slash and spread at those 3 lines, and it's going to create more room for your bust. So line 1 goes from the bottom hem parallel to the grain line. I go about 1/2 inch above my bust apex, which is right here. And then line 1 dog legs to about 1/3 of the way up the armhole. And that's usually where the notch is in the armhole. Line 2 goes from the side seam to the dog leg, and I like to angle it down a little bit because line 2 is going to become a dart, so I want it to look dart-like. And then line 3 is somewhere in the bottom half of your pattern piece, and it connects the center front with line 1. Okay, I know you can't really see those. I just wanted to show you how I use the grid to make it easier. So line 1 goes like this, line 2 and line 3. And now it's time to slash and spread and make room for the bust. First thing you want to do is cut along line 1. And I'm going up to, but not through the seam allowance. I'm going to swing out the side seam so that right at the apex I have 3/4 of an inch of room. And there we go. I'm gonna pin on either side here. So now I have 3/4 of an inch right where I need it. But down here at the hem, it is way off to the side. It's not on grain anymore. And there's way more extra fabric down here than we actually need. So to correct that, I am going to cut at line 2. Basically, lines 2 and 3 just correct what you've done with line 1. So line 2, I'm cutting up to, but not through the apex. Now I'm going to swing the pattern piece so that everything is parallel once again. So now the grain line is back on the grain line. The 3-inch hem allowance is back along one of the grid lines, which we can't see right now. Here we are, we've got a cute little dart at line 2. We've got more room right where we need it. And now our new problem is that the hem has a huge dog leg. So we need to make this pattern piece longer so that the hem goes straight across, which is where line 3 comes in. And I'm just going to cut along line 3 as straight as I can, upside down. So I'm going to move it down, and trust me that it's much easier when you can actually see the grid, because you can make sure that all points of this rectangle are on grain. But if we were on the grid, you wouldn't be able to see my lines. There we go, boom. We've created some width here and some length also, because you need width and length. And we've created a small dart. Okay, now I'm gonna fill in my slashes with Perfect Pattern paper, which is another product from Palmer Pletch. And it is tissue that is the same weight as traditional pattern tissue, and it has grid marks on it. What I'm gonna do is just slide this Perfect Pattern paper. I'm gonna slide it up into these slashed openings that I created. I cut my paper into strips that were just a little bit wider than the slashes that I made. And I am going to slide these in, and then I'm going to tape them with 1/2-inch tape. And I'm going to do all of that in fast forward, so you don't have to watch me struggle with each little bit. It's really a lot easier when you're not on camera. Here we go. I got it all taped. I used this 1/2-inch tape, which is narrower than the usual 3/4-inch tape, because as you could see, I used a lot of tape on here, and the 3/4-inch tape can get things kind of gummed up. Now I'm going to trim my little extra bits. And I'm going to redraw my dart. I like my darts to end about 1.5 inches from my apex, and so that's about here. And then, so I'll take this, the outside edge of the dart, and connect the apex to that, so it'll be a slightly different angle than the line 2 was. I just like to make sure I have enough extra tissue on the side for when I there we go. When we make the dart, we're going to fold it down like that, and we're good. There's enough fabric there. Okay, now I am going to fold the dart and repin the bodice to the back and try it on again and see if it worked. I'm trying it on again, and you can see all the alterations, and this is my center front, and here is the center front of the pattern, and it reaches. Doing a full bust adjustment seems like a lot of work at first, but I know from experience that it gets easier and easier. I will be filling this YouTube channel with tons of fitting tutorials. Let me know in the comments below what else you'd like to learn about. Also, let me know what questions you have about what I just covered. This has been Kate at The Confident Stitch. I hope to see you again really soon.